feature such a perfect case study. For those of you who are not aware, Hamza's former editor and also best friend Sam turned on him. And they have been feuding on YouTube, exposing each other, destroying each other. Sam called Hamza a cockroach, revealed that he was on steroids, that he's lazy and doesn't even practice what he's preaching. They both have been airing each other.
I love the fucking self-improvement wave where the exposed video, like, obviously it's an attack on your character, but it's like, he's lazy, actually. You know what I mean? He's bullshit.
Other's dirty laundry. And what I love about this is both of them are right. Both of them are right about the other. Both of them successfully proved what kind of person the other party is. You know the saying, lie down with dogs, you get up with fleas.
Yep.
This is what Hamza's brotherhood is gonna get you.
You are a fucking disgrace, Hamza. You are no man at all. You have no principles.
Is this Dr. K?
You have no morals. You simply just role play. You are the definition of a role player.
It's crazy because I remember when these guys were like boys or whatever. And I could have predicted this outcome. I agree with the narrator. There was an element of extremely obvious opportunism with a lot of what Hamza was doing, but even the kind of energy around it felt a bit too, it was so positive, so like reinforcing that it was almost phony. It was weird. There was a weirdness to it. This is probably not the videos I would have expected this guy to be making though. And I haven't watched his original video, but let's see.
You are a little girl.
Yeah,
an absolute coward and a cockroach.
All right. Yeah. I like that that's the insult. You're a little girl.
Fuck you. My physique's fine, but I know that my physicality isn't my strength, so I don't obsess over it, and I also don't take steroids. How I never saw him once consistently practice
Hamza's on steroids.
Anything what he preaches on his YouTube channels over the span of 5 years of being friends with him, publicly crying to solicit sympathy.
This is turning out even better than I'd hoped.
I know people are gonna expect me to side with his editor, just because, you know, it is so popular and easy to dunk on Hamza these days. But I am not gonna take the easy, lazy approach. I am not gonna talk only about Hamza. There are bigger lessons to take away from the fable of Hamza and Sam. Guys, this is a great case study for my teachings on this channel. Such a great...
Yes, a man who views drama as a case study, something to learn from. God bless. Hell yeah.
You are gonna remember my video from 2 years ago. You know, it was titled Brotherhood. Men are natural-born cringe masters who will be ready to rat you out, sell you out for the short-term.
Okay, I actually like where this guy's taking this, okay? He's making this more about brotherhood and the concept of who can you trust as a man, finding the people whom you feel you have a kindred spirit with, whom you have a connection with. This is why a big fucking emphasis, okay? If you've listened to me for long enough, massive thing that I always emphasize, you need fucking friends. You fucking need friends. You need friends. That doesn't mean you need friends to make money with. This was a massive thing that all these fucking self-help influencers were talking about. You need to make money with your friends. If you're not making money together, then it's fucking fake. Something that Sneeko said, something that Hamza said. You need friends who are your friends, even if you are a fuck up. You need friends who are your friends and will root for you and will, you know, at least not fuck you over when you are vulnerable, when you are weak, but especially you need friends, a real friend, by the way. This is if you really want to know. I mean, this is more about trust, but how would I define a fucking friend? A friend is somebody who you love, which means that you're willing to sacrifice in some senses for them. Not in a deep sense, but you are willing to sacrifice for them to an extent, okay? I don't think it's a very real friendship if you're not willing to sacrifice in some extent to, you know, be with them or hang out with them or whatever in service of them. But it's also somebody who you trust, right? So to love someone and to trust someone. A relationship is very different, but you also want to love and trust them, usually, right? A parent, ideally, you would want to love and trust a fucking parent. But, you know, you can still have a parent and they can be not loving and not trusting, whatever. When it comes to a friend, you definitely want trust, and ideally, you would love each other, meaning you're both willing to kind of sacrifice for the other. It doesn't mean that you're willing to give up your life for them necessarily. Doesn't mean they need to always be at your beck and call. It just means basically it is someone who would be willing to go out of their way on your behalf if they felt like that's what you needed. It is somebody who has your actual best interests at heart. They want to empower you, okay? When I said that love is about sacrifice, that's a kind of lazy way to put it. I'll emphasize my meaning, all right? My description that I've given many times at this point. If you want to know what you love, see who you make exceptions for, okay? I think it's very important for people to understand you cannot really express love without having power in this world. Everybody has to some extent, even as minute as it can possibly be, some power in this world, okay? Some power in this world. With that power, what do you do with it? And power meaning like ability to control the world around you, ability to make decisions, to manifest in some ways, whatever. With that power, what do you choose to do? Do you choose to sacrifice or to expend that energy or whatever to uplift others at no gain to yourself? Because that's a big part, because there's a difference between investing and sacrificing. There's a big difference, by the way, big difference. Investing is more in the sense of like, I expect some yield, I expect some, reward from doing this, right? Sacrificing for something, it lacks the consideration even as to whether there is a benefit. It's just that you want to serve, you want to contribute in some way. My definition of love in that sense is, are you willing to sacrifice for somebody else at no perceivable benefit to yourself, from a position where you don't have to help them and where helping them might not necessarily be in your best interest, but you believe it's in their best interest? Will you choose to do it? Expend your own power to empower somebody else at no potential gain to yourself. And the reason you do it, ideally, is because you are looking out for the interest or the well-being or whatever of that other person. That's why in my head it's an act of love, right? You're not coerced. That's why the power is important, because without power, you can be forced to act in line with what somebody wants, right? So if you're a literal slave, right? Do you love your master? You might think you do, but if you have literally no control and your master just forces you to do things, you don't actually know if you love your master until you are in a position where you don't have to serve them, and yet you choose to do it anyway. Every time I talk about Hamza, it's a very different vibe than when I'm talking about, Sneeko, Fuentes, whoever, whatever. Because Hamza's not really a political actor. He is a more authentic, like self-improvement type guy. His intentions are less kind of malicious from what I can tell, but he does express an obvious narcissism about him, and he does shift his opinions in a very weird, opportunistic kind of weird way. Basically, he is a very interesting case study, as this guy's elucidating. Now, why is it very important for you to fucking have friends in this world? Yeah, it's pretty simple, because if everybody who you consider a friend is actually a business partner who wants to mutually gain from being in your circle or vicinity or whatever, well, guess what? When they stop gaining, when they stop seeing a benefit to being around you, they will stop being your friend. And here's the biggest thing, because I was talking about trust, right? Ideally, in a friend, you want to love them, right? And for them to love you, meaning there's an amount of sacrifice you are both willing to put forward to better or to empower the other or whatever, right? Trust, though. Trust. How does trust work? Trust is only earned over time and through experience. And guess what? You do not know, much like, how I said, if you want to know who you love, see who you make exceptions for. If you want to know who you can trust, this is the dangerous part, okay? First, you need to have faith. What the does that mean? If you have faith in somebody, it is basically a belief that you can trust them. But you can't actually realize, you can't know that you can trust somebody until you give them the opportunity to break your trust. That's having faith that they won't do it. When they prove over time that they will not break your trust, that they will act right by you, that's how that faith becomes legitimate trust. But to first gain somebody's trust, you have to have faith. Now, ideally, you would not have blind faith with a completely random person in a big way that exposes you to big risk. If you're a rational acting person, as you should be incrementally giving people more and more kind of faith and more trust in your life, right? Because that's the whole point of trust being developed over time. First, you trust somebody simply in the sense of hanging out with them at a coffee shop, right? Like, sure, first date, whatever. You go to a coffee shop, you see that they're a real person. You see that the pictures they posted on their thing are somewhat of a reflection of who they are, that the things that they were texting are in alignment with what they are saying in real life. And then you go to maybe, this is like an escalation of trust. You go on a date to a bar later at night. Now you're trusting them in the sense of you're drinking alcohol, not coffee. You're in a more intimate setting, whatever. You kind of get the point, right? And then it can get to the point where it's like, I've known this person for 30 years. They're my good friend whom I love and trust. I have to go on a work trip. They are going to watch my kids for the next week. You know what I mean? You don't get to that fucking final stage of trust without a whole lot coming before. Of course, trust can be subverted. Trust can be cheated by paying people, but most people, not everybody, but most people understand that some of the highest levels of trust can't really be paid for. It just simply can't. And the type of person who would pay for it is somebody who has failed to develop those kinds of trusting relationships, or not desired to, but you know, you kind of get what I'm saying.
Game.
But I responded with, hey man, wanna hop in a call? I got no response for 24 hours until the next day, where I randomly got a call on Discord. We chatted on the video call. Hamza seemed very upset, very cagey, and I started to dig deeper as to why he was feeling this way. And it turns out he was upset at me because of a video I made called Self-Improvement Did Not Change My Life. So in case you missed it, on the 30th of September, Hamza posted this.
So the
Self-Improvement Did Not Change My Life by Sam Harbin. This is what Hamza raged over. Thanks to Hamza's impeccable strategic thinking skills, this video has a lot more views now. I don't vouch for the right-hand man role. I hired a friend to be my right-hand man for my YouTube channel, but it was a mistake. I fired him after a couple weeks of his role. He was recently disrespectful towards me. He tried to convince my own followers that my advice doesn't work and that they should just buy his paid program instead. Basically sold out our 5-year-long relationship for a couple $100. I can't look past an act of disrespect like that, no matter how much I loved him as my best friend. It fucking sucks, but I cut ties with him. All right. I just wanted to make this clear. Yeah, dude, I mean, Hamza, like, you don't need to make this a fucking public social media thing. This doesn't need to be announced on social media. Whatever. I just wanted to make this clear. Okay. Oh, I see. Because, right, okay, so Hamza's thing is that because Hamza's propped this guy up, now Hamza doesn't view him as someone who's trustworthy, so he has to kind of go back on his word. Okay, I kind of get the logic, yeah. I've unfollowed him, screenshot this, and send it to someone who needs to hear it. Okay, that's just fucking weird, bro.
entire thing started because Hamza was so insecure, so full of himself that a guy with no influence whatsoever made a video questioning the effectiveness of self-improvement. That was literally it, bro. That was literally why he made that Instagram post, blasting his former editor, best friend, right-hand man. Imagine the pettiness. Oh, bro.
I'm imagining that in that original video he probably did at least a little bit shit on Hamza, but whatever.
Bro, you questioned the effectiveness of self-improvement. Now I will make an Instagram post to provoke you even further. When you have all the receipts and all the dirt on me. Guys, this is the strategic thinking skills of Hamza. And now look what is happening. He's getting his dirty laundry aired by his best friend. If this is his best friend, what does that say about Hamza's judgment? You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta ask these questions.
I want you to remember going forward that Hamza is absolutely full of shit from top to bottom. He has no issue with making shit up, rewriting history, misrepresenting people, lying. The truth be told, this isn't the first time Hamza's done something which I've found to be incredibly malicious. I am truly a...
Not the first time he's done malicious stuff, but of course he was his best friend and defended him until now, and that cause... Oh yeah, birds of a feather flock together. Yeah, this is always something interesting where it's like when they have a public beef, then you choose to air out a lot of weird shit. It's like, yeah, I mean, that's opportunistic.
A believer of what is real will prosper. I also believe the opposite. And it seems like a lot of people are catching up to what Hamza's really about. I could say a lot more in this video. The CEO of masculinity decided to make an Instagram story about me. Hamza, if you're watching this video, a final bit of advice from your previous right-hand man and former...
Dude, like, these two dudes beefing in public is just such a fucking negative reflection in a lot of ways.
best friend of 5 years. Don't respond to this video. I will...
Like, it is tragic.
fucking bury you.
Yeah, that is a very stupid, fucking stupid as fuck. Super stupid thing to say in a video. Super fucking stupid, bro.
Hamza.
And of course, Hamza, you know, having the ego he has, fell for it.
I mean, I would respond to that too, but anyway.
And he's so fake too. Come on, man, that fake politeness. Pray for my friend Sam. I am...
Yeah, I think that's stupid. Hamza's framing of his whole video was fucking stupid. I mean, because he tried to take the high road, but he threw in tons of little jabs, tons of like little broing. Like, it was crazy. It was very obviously, it was very egoic. even though Hamza was trying to not take it egoic, it's more like he didn't want to get into the fucking weeds. He didn't want to get to the specifics of the disputes and things in question, whatever. And he just wanted to vaguely be like, avert your gaze. And this is my little bro, Sam. He's acting out. This is unfortunate. I'm so sad. I agree that Hamza taking the high road and kind of saying like, bro, we shouldn't be doing this publicly that makes sense. But the way it was framed was just classic, like Hamza just fucking kind of out of touch and weird.
I'm gonna air all his dirty laundry, but I'm gonna act like I am the nice guy.
If you want to bury me, if you want to go and expose every bit of my private details, bro, honestly, you could fucking destroy my life. Go ahead. It'll be nothing that I haven't already said to the camera.
Hamza, just asking this out of curiosity. Just asking, was admitting to steroids also one of those things you already admitted on camera? Question mark.
I've told everyone everything about me.
I've told everyone everything about me.
Just asking so that, we are on the same page. I am asking for information, right? I am asking you, is taking roids while you were telling your victims to follow your advice to get a body like yours?
Oh, damn, he's calling his paid members victims. That's heavy. So I don't know that it's been proven Hamza takes steroids. I think it's possible. I do definitely think it's possible. But I'm not certain. The creator of this might be a little biased.
Of course, part of that everything. Is that also part of the everything about yourself? Question mark.
Sam hasn't been consistent in even exercise for the last few years.
Oh, bro, I love this. Dude, I love that self-improvement. This is the call-outs. He's not consistent with exercise. I fucking love it. Like, this is, you guys don't understand how much higher of a level this technically is than the fucking drama that I have to navigate, man.
Meditation, not cold showers, not reading, not gratitude journaling, and even exercise he hasn't been consistent in. He's told me this, and look, this is the worst thing I'm going to say, but his physique shows it as well.
Generally, I'm pretty consistent with my exercise. I'm either fight training or I'm doing weights. My physique's fine, but I know that my physicality isn't my strength, so I don't obsess over it, and I also don't take steroids.
Of course, this only led to Sam returning the favor by exposing him as a steroid user. After Sam did this, exposed him, outed him as a steroid
What's up? You doing okay?
user, Hamza came clean about roiding. He made a video admitting to it.
Interesting. I'm not on roids. Saw people commenting that he said this, but I didn't see where in his video. He knows the truth as well, but if he said I was on steroids, he was just trying to make it more dramatic. I'm on TRT. Okay, never mind. Which is where you take your testosterone level to more like a caveman. Holy fuck. He is on TRT. That's steroids. Okay. Feels awesome, but I didn't speak about it because I know that I have so many young guys who might start taking it after hearing me hype it up. I mean, I agree. That's the problem. Is like, I agree that Hamza announcing that he's on steroids would definitely make dudes more likely to fucking take steroids. He basically doubled his testosterone, which absolutely probably fucks his, I don't know, but his emotional state, potentially.
But since he was getting roasted so bad, he removed it. He was saying stuff like, oh, dude, I didn't say I was taking steroids, not to be a bad influence on my young viewers. Sure, bro. Such a pitiful, laughable cop. He was shooting up T when he was telling his victims to do nofap, to be able to boost their T 4 times. Nofap for his victims, injections for him. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, for the sake of my young viewers, I didn't come clean about it. You think of them so much, Hamza. You are such a good Samaritan, man. Hey, guys.
Here's a fat loss mindset that will make you lose weight, fatty. Yeah, no, I agree. This is, I don't know when he started taking steroids, but this probably was around the time.
Guys, you want to boost your T up to 2000? You need to take cold showers. Do nofap. Repeat Iamodons 100 times in front of the mirror. Turns off the camera, shoots up T. Oh man, this is just comedy, bro.
There is one practice that has been shown to 400%
Dude, I remember this shit. This is so funny.
of testosterone. That means if you have a 500 nanograms of testosterone, this practice has been reported to increase it up to 2000. That is a steroid level increase. I'm surprised that this hasn't taken over the internet with this idea. And what is it? It's semen retention.
And what makes all this even funnier is, only 1 month ago, 1 month before the drama, he actually made a video titled, How I Increased My Testosterone.
And he's implying to increase your fucking penis size.
Guys, take a wild guess which factor he didn't include.
We need to speak about the guys who are locked in, who are switched on. Because there are quite a lot of guys just like us who are doing the good actions. We're going to sleep on time. We're staying away from drugs. We're on no fat. We're lifting heavy weights. We're thinking about our diet. We're doing all these things. And yet we still have low testosterone. I realized I needed to change my identity. I started to do visualizations that would symbolize me having high testosterone. And I'll let you come up with some of those yourself. But imagine you close your eyes and you almost create like a mental movie of a moment that symbolizes you've got high testosterone. The power of belief is scarily powerful. So how about we use this for our advantage? Why don't you start to do that habit that I did? I know it sounds so cringe, so you don't have to tell anyone or show anyone, but why don't you start to just force yourself to believe, I've got high testosterone, I'm a strong man.
Hard work and discipline for you, plastic surgeries for them. Repeating, I am high test, I am high test, I am strong in front of the mirror 100 times for you, T injections for them. Game and cold approach for you, hiring women for them. Oh, bro, you know, repeat, I am high test in front of the mirror.
Yeah, I mean, the critique is pretty simple. I mean, just a hypocrite, like phony, hypocrite, fraud, whatever you'd say. I would agree that given the content he was making, if he was on steroids at that time, it's just misleading. Totally, completely agree. I'm kind of glad he didn't announce that he was on steroids. To be honest, because that would basically be an advertisement to all those fucking kids. But yes, he shouldn't have been on it to begin with, more than likely. Yeah.
That is how I increased mine. Lifting and repeating, I am high T in front of the mirror. When he was feeding his gullible victims those videos, right after turning the camera off, he was injecting himself with testosterone. That is the kind of person Hamza is, and always has been. Pay attention here, guys. This part is important. Not only is, yes, of course, is too, but always has been.
Because if you can stop being needy for girls, they will start to need you. They will start to chase you. And how do you just
fucking love this shit?
destroy neediness? Well, there's two ways. Either one, you actually get an abundance of women actually being into you, which can take a long time. So that's something that we hopefully want to get to. But two, we can fake it. We can reprogram our mind to stop being needy and almost in a silly way, make ourselves believe that we have so many women into us, which is as simple as literally just sit down and just say, I am Adonis. Women want to get with me. Women love spending time with me.
Oh yeah, this is fucked.
Oh, I kept it a secret only because I didn't want to be a bad influence on my gullible victims whom I care about so deeply. He is so fake, bro. What did I tell you guys in my last video? In the autopsy of the manosphere video. I told you this. If we knew more about these so-called leaders,
During my gym rotting years, one Reuter I knew had told me, even if you get big just by going harder and watching your diet religiously, you will get accused of roiding anyway. Everyone else is also doing it. I see. So this guy's natty, and he's like dealt with gym rats that, like the cope, because this is just facts, like steroid users have copes that legitimize them using steroids. They know it's cheating, okay, or they know that they don't need it, but they find reasons to legitimize and to, you know, logically convince themselves, okay, this is why I'm doing it, to rationalize. That's what it is, right?
CEOs of the masculinity, you would realize that everything about them is a lie. We didn't even know he was roiding because his body is actually achievable, Natty. I have gym rotted enough, hard and long enough to know that is achievable naturally. But
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would agree. Hamza's body is achievable, but if you're on steroids, it would also be like less effort put into keeping that. You know what I mean? Like the whole thing is that you can just eat way less. You can eat way less measuredly when you're on steroids because so much more of it is converted into muscle, right? And expended and whatever, right? So, because dude, to understand, like, if you're going to keep a very low body fat percentage and be working out, and let's be clear, okay, I've manifested decently in terms of, like, you know, fucking physical fitness or whatever you would say. It's fucking hard. It is hard, okay? Because it's not just, it's one thing to grow the muscle. That's hard. That's technically the hard part, right? But dude, the amount of discipline it actually takes to remain low body fat, to like lose the weight, but to still maintain, it is tough.
of course, why work hard when you can just hop on gear, right? Hard work for you, hard work and no fap for you, roid injections for them. And if you even suggested that Hamza was roiding, people would have attacked you, 100%. Because people only think of extreme outliers with, cartoonish bodies, extremely big. Only them must be roiding. But most steroid users actually have bodies that can be achieved naturally. But of course, popping a pill, just taking a shot is just easier. Oh, I am natural. I am not one of them. The next guy, not me though, next guy. Hard work and discipline rehab. Have you heard of it? But when exposed, situation is this.
Hamza's narrative around firing his team is because he wanted to slim down on
Journal entry 3 days before walking away. I feel negative because I've continued. Oh shit. Oh, so Hamza sent him this. Okay, yeah, bro. Look, Sam. This guy's name's Sam. The fact that you would leak Hamza's journal entries that I'm imagining he sent to you as an accountability partner. You're a fucking scumbag. You are a fucking scumbag. Now I understand the reasons and the rationale that these guys are using, which all of it comes down to ego, and potentially, in the case of Sam, it is potentially growing his business, whatever. But I do think it's largely ego. And look, that's not inherently a bad thing. It's just a bad thing when you don't fucking properly accept it. You could argue it's inherently a bad thing, but not accepting it makes it worse, right? Because you're just rationalizing the fuck out of it. But the rationalization these guys are providing is that these Hamza and Sam are both offering advice to young men, okay? And Hamza's very successful at that, offering advice to a lot of young men. And so Sam's angle is that I'm exposing this person who's basically taking advantage of young men, and then Hamza's angle is I propped up this Sam guy, I vouched, I need my audience to know that I no longer vouch for him. Anyway, either way, these journal entries should be private, but if they're not, whatever. I've continually took the shortfall for the lack of video being recorded. I feel embarrassed as a leader. Hamza's lack of responsibility towards his employees both scares me and disappoints me massively. Kamwar has not had a video for 10 days. Hamza's smoking weed and fucking around. Oh, okay, my bad. So, okay, whoa. This is not Sam leaking fucking, I guess, Hamza's journal entry. This is Sam's journal entry right before he left from working with Hamza. Okay. I just interpreted it that way because Hamza's name was at the top, but this makes sense. Hamza's smoking weed and fucking around with a woman on his day off from training rather than dealing with these issues. There are editors who are relying on this income, and there has been zero communication between us and them, and no second thought towards them. Not following the iron rule set has slipped that he has smoked early on at least two occasions, asking blank to talk to me about the business issue rather than discussing it himself. Entire trip so far has revolved around
costs. He had fulfilled his purpose. He was done.
Oh yes, dude, this is the perfection.
Making YouTube videos. What really happened is that Hamza cut the team, cut me from my position, used the momentum that we had built together on the channel to start monetizing, started making over $150,000 per month.
Okay, this guy's gaining coherence instantly. This is so funny, dude. Holy shit, I made this.
And hired his family instead.
Hamza had said in the past that he quit YouTube because he fulfilled his mission, but came crawling back to open a school page because he realized that fighting and making a profit doesn't work when he's not selling kids, 16-year-old kids, sham self-improvement courses. He quickly realized that he majorly overestimated his ability to make money without selling cold shower courses on YouTube. So what did he do? Came crawling back. You really think he's making these literally copy-paste videos out of passion? Look at this, guys. Look at this.
He's so desperately trying to revive his channel by remaking his popular
Pause your
videos.
game and look at the screen for a second. Same title.
This is just facts. All this is facts. I've fucking, I've talked about this in relation to Hamza a number of times. I've made a fucking video about this. Hamza, this is so,
Same thumbnail, don't count. Literally the same, exact same video.
When he fucking made that video, holy shit, man. When he made that video, firing all of his employees, I was like, what the fuck?
Remade 3 years later. That is the kind of person Hamza is. Of course, but always has been.
It's actually kind of nice to see the other side of this.
Yeah.
This is still fucking season 2. Let's fucking climb back up and let's restart self-improvement together. I've had seasons myself where I have been too obsessed with money. Remember there was a time like last year when I changed my entire channel and it was only money related and I was sat there like trying to get sales in my program. Look, we've all had times where we've become too obsessed with money.
Which is why, exactly why, you came back. Because not only your views tanked, but you also realized that your frustrated 14, 15-year-old audience were never gonna pay for your financial advisor stuff. They were only gonna pay you to tell them how to get girls. So what did you do? Came back, shamelessly. Only to remake the exact same videos, same thumbnail, same title, everything, all over again. Calling it Season 2. Season 2 of what, bro? Season 2 of what? The one last racketeering scheme, before vanishing away for good. That is what Season 2 is.
How I never saw him once consistently practice anything what he preaches on his YouTube channels over the span of 5 years of being friends with him, publicly crying to solicit sympathy.
Let's go compare both videos, his most recent hate video and then the one he's made in the past that he's forgotten to delete.
But I've spent years being best friends with
Most recent hate video.
Hamza doesn't practice what he preaches. He said that in 5 years he's known me. I've never been disciplined or practiced what I preached, but he forgot to hide a video he made before all the drama talk about the same topic.
And then the one he's made in the past that he's forgotten to delete.
But I've spent years being best friends with Hamza. I've spent a good amount of time with Hamza in real life as well. And based on what I personally witnessed throughout those years, Hamza rarely follows any of the self-improvement habits that he preaches online.
Because Hamza forgot to delete that video, right? I clicked on his channel and I clicked on most popular. And the first thing I noticed was that all the most popular videos were about me because Sam is a clout chaser. But then when I clicked on this one here, I watched it through. This was made before all this drama where Sam spent 17 minutes like backing me from this ginger guy here who was making like hate videos on me. Well, this video is from February last year. We were friends for about 4 years by here. And let's see what Sam is saying when he's not in a period of like emotional drama.
As a complete fact that Hamza, generally speaking, lives what he preaches. He practices gratitude, he meditates, he reads. Any advice that Hamza's given you in his videos, he has applied to his own life 100%.
Yeah, I mean, it reflects poorly on both.
Gotta give the boy points.
So Sam, were you lying then, or are you lying now? You gotta give Hamza credit here, guys. In his response video, the dude legit came up with the receipts. I mean, they are both destroying each other. And it is, fabulous to watch. Sam, were you lying then, or are you lying now? If you were a liar then, why should we believe you now? But I am inclined to believe you were lying then.
Okay, I will not lie to you guys. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I think this is more or less the point where it's like, okay, this is just like interpersonal drama, bullshit, beef, whatever. Honestly, I understand if people are invested in this, but I want to get to the core of this, right? The brotherhood thing, okay? Because a brother is different from a friend, okay? Brothers, the idea, if you're calling a friend a brother, right? I mean, really, that just means, again, that you love and trust them, right? It means that you have like a common goal, right? Or whatever. Like you literally share blood is the implication, even though it's obviously not true in this case. That you would be willing to die for each other. Like I would certainly die for my brothers, right? Whereas I might not for my friends, right? Depending on the friend and whatever. I want to see what this video creator, what his takeaway is, because he's relishing in these guys tearing each other apart, and to me it's just kind of depressing. Let's see.
Own messaging from Hamza and his brand.
Sure, bro. You wanted to separate your brand from Hamza. Cut the crap. Oh, my brand is separate. Sure, that is why you
Yeah, I also don't really buy this shit.
treat your employee as equals. They will feel like you're equal. That, Hamza's editor title will start to bother them. Because you made them think they are your equal when they were not. He started to see you as his equal friend, not as his boss. You gotta decide under which title.
Okay, whoa, let's see. What's this guy's advice? This is the good part.
In the same sense. He saw the success that I was building and everyone could tell that it was affecting him. This is when he kept on using this phrase, main character. He said to me that he didn't
It's fucking Minecraft music.
want to be the right-hand man anymore. He didn't want to be known as like Hamza's editor. He wanted to be the main character young people were using on the internet to symbolize like the superstar of the show, like someone who's very important. He started hating being known as Hamza's editor.
I can't see this happening because men will try to sink the ship. If they can't get to be the captain, they will. Male brotherhood is a joke, man. Because as the testosterone gender, we are just more competitive. That is why it is never a good business practice.
I feel like that's just cap. I feel like that's just cap. I think that women are competitive in different aspects. Although, let me put it like this, though. I think that maybe you could say that men are more receptive to competition, something like that. We're more eager for it, eager to prove ourselves. Maybe women are more sensitive to competition. I'm not sure how I would put it.
Practice to make friends with your employees and treat them as if they are your equal. Those two never mix. You gotta decide. You gotta decide if Sam is your employee or your friend. He can't be both at the same time. If you
I kind of like that framing. I mean, it can be true. It can be true, but like, it's also true that there needs to be a more clear dynamic. I agree.
treat your employee as equals, they will feel like you're equal. That, Hamza as editor title will start to bother them. Because you made them think they are your equal when they were not. He started to see you
I mean, sure. This framing is a bit brain dead, though.
as his equal friend, not as his boss. You gotta decide under which title you wanna keep Sam, friend or employee. But of course, it would be unfair to expect Hamza to have insight into any of this. Hamza is, Hamza, successful at certain stuff, like, charging 16-year-olds $600, $700, but you can't expect him to have insight into any of this, which is why he's getting betrayed and exposed by his best friend.
2 weeks later, I received 7 voice notes, 25 minutes total, of Hamza once again berating, discrediting me, attempting to manipulate me. Here's a quick compilation.
What he didn't tell you is that he literally asked me, what can you spot in me that I can improve on? I won't get offended. He didn't give you that context, and he didn't let you listen to everything that I sent. I felt so alone back in the end of 2022. I felt like you developed this massive ego around the Andrew Tate times, in Dubai. And it's, if I'm honest, it's kind of stayed there. And it's it doesn't feel like that's the real you. The real you, the guy I know, bro, he's so heartfelt, he's so funny, he's so goofy, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Shoulder frame. When you have the shoulder thing,
One would ever come to you because of your flexing. I think, in fact, you'll push people away because they can see that it's pretty unauthentic. They can see that it just feels kind of cringe.
that's because Sam ain't got the looks for people to believe it is genuine. When you have the frame, I'm talking about shoulder frame. When you have the shoulder frame of some 11-year-old child, when you are short, when your face is not much to look at, people can tell you are just a tryhard. And it is super cringe indeed.
In terms of business, I don't
Okay, bro. This dude's injecting some fucking looks maxing coat, like black pill analysis, whatever. I mean, whatever. Let's see.
think you should speak about the main character thing and the sort of content mastery at all. When you told Kaz what you were planning and he said brother, how many views do you get on YouTube? And you said 500 to 600. You looked kind of embarrassed when you said that because it was out there in the open of you're not credible to teach the sort of personal branding thing. I think you had a product that people were joining because it was so clear. Become an editor, make a few K a month, move to Thailand, make money wherever you are. So, 3 guys you spoke to want to be making their own content, whatever. But you're not the guy to fucking teach that. It's just as simple as that. I'm telling you right now, bro, I know you think it's so clear. Okay, we're going to have this main character thing and this editing thing, and it's going to be mixed together, but also separate. And it's going to be this thing and this, whatever. But everyone's so confused on it. It doesn't make sense for you to make this a content, become a content creator, leader, face of the personality, main character. That's just not your expertise. It's not your strength.
Dude, honestly, I hate to admit this, but this is good advice. But people will never want to hear it. If you say, bro, maybe it is time to try something else, they will be like, oh, dude, you just don't want me to be successful. Sam, you should take good advice when you see one. Stick to teaching video editing, teaching how to build up clientele, being a main guy, the man, being the main guy, selling main guy program where you are the content creator, where you are the Hamza. That is just not gonna be you. You ain't got what it takes. You ain't got the look.
I'll put the okay. As a guy who is the face of, I guess, my operation, right? I'm not the only one in this operation, but I am the, I guess, main fucking role. You know what I mean? I guess the face of it or whatever. And also a lot of the fucking kind of, a lot of the inner workings have to go through me, more or less. Point is, though, it's fucking not easy. It's not only not easy, it is super when I say, when this guy says it, when I say it, when anyone says it, Hamza, not everybody can do this shit. I barely do this shit in a way that is consistently profitable. You know what I mean? And I believe in myself. I have high potential, but you got to keep in mind, I've been making fucking videos for 14 years. Okay? 14 fucking years. So it's because here's the thing, right? It's not just that it's hard work. Okay, it's like, yeah, okay, it's not the hardest work. It's not the hardest work to fucking turn on a camera and yap and whatever. Obviously, I do video editing. That is, I would consider that hard work. But if we're talking like more of like just a stream presence person, whatever, that is not the hardest work. But having something worth saying, that's tougher than you would think. Having something that is repeatable, like is actually worth you saying over and over again, or like having new things to say, that's fucking tough. Because when you're like a personality like Hamza uploading fucking daily slop self-improvement videos, like, yes, he's repeating the fuck out of himself. He's basically doing it cynically at a certain point. YouTube's a demanding motherfucker. The algorithm's very demanding, okay? There's no stopping point with YouTube. It's a fucking treadmill. It's a treadmill. And the question is, how fast can you move without stopping? That's basically the entire question of YouTube. How fast can you move without needing to stop? And it's tough, but yeah. It's I'll put it like this. I think that the biggest, most difficult element of it is psychological, okay? I really do think that. Yeah, I'm an NPC puppeted by Saplo, yeah, facts. Let me put it like this, though. Some people have got it, okay? Some people definitely have got it. Some people can, like, work their way up to having it, which is definitely what I feel like I've done, even though I still don't have it, you know what I mean? Fully, right? Whatever. Like, there's the point that I'm trying to get at, though, is that it comes down, honestly, at the end of the day, it comes down to consistency and basically having some kind of competitive advantage. And yeah, in time you'll probably succeed, but those are two very, very hard things to reconcile sometimes.
To be able to pull it off. Very poor frame, not tall, face is average at best.
Dude, this guy is very black pill analysis focused. Like, okay, the Sam guy, the Sam guy's not tall, has not wide shoulders, and I guess it doesn't have like an inherently attractive face. I mean, I think he's well put together looking enough. Like, I don't know why that kind of analysis is necessary. I get it. Okay, actually, I do understand why it's necessary, because if you're trying to get younger men to follow you, you need to look like an idyllic version of a fucking man. I understand. But I think that there's a massive, like, that's just a really stupid fucking way to write them off. Because if anything, a guy who sure was short, bad, whatever the fuck, what is it? What's it called? Bad frame, mid face, whatever. If you build yourself up from that, status, I think that's more of a testament of how hard you've worked, how much you've overcome, and whatever. It's stupid, I think, to think otherwise.
The only pro is the jawline. The rest is mediocre.
My theory is Hamza
Bro, who gives a so stupid.
Wants me boxed in. He wants me to be very quiet. You stick to your video editing, Sam. Don't try anything new. He wants me as far away as possible from his business model. I think Hamza deep down knows that if I start teaching what I know about personal branding, I become a major threat to his business.
Dude, you are delusional. You have delusions of grandeur if you think Hamza told you that because he was so scared.
My personal opinion is Hamza wanted Sam to move to Bali to keep working as his video editor and stay under his thumb.
You would be a threat to his business. There is an insane ego, bro.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably true. Hamza thought they were a dynamic duo, that they would work better together. I think that's facts. And I think he was correct that solo, this guy might not be able to handle it.
There is honestly good advice from Hamza. You should take it. But, people don't want to hear that. Everybody want to be an influencer these days. They don't want to go to school and get it.
Being an influencer, there's a lot of negatives that people ignore.
Traditional job, which I honestly believe is the better option, guys. As long as it is a useful degree, as long as you have a roadmap, proper roadmap planned out, I believe it is the better option. And I tell this to people straight up. Like, bro, you ain't got the face to be able to be a fitness influencer like that. And the market is a lot more competitive these days compared to, let's say, 10 years ago. You are not going to be the next Hamza. You just won't. Go get your med school degree, bro. And do fitness, fitness videos as a hobby. You are going to thank me 10 years later.
You become the charismatic editor and you get free, easy promotions. You actually work less hard, and people who are better editors than you make less money because, the creators promote the guys they like, not just who produces the best technical edits. You say, most creators don't even spot the sort of technical edits, but they spot the personality of the guy they want to hop on calls with. That's your strength.
This was sound advice, and the thing is, it's advice that he's now actually taken after all this drama anyway. But for him to show you 10 seconds of the voice notes,
I mean, I really feel this feuding drama is a bad look for both of them. Both of them are losing.
Yes, obviously.
And everybody still loses. No, don't spoil it.
All right, okay.
This is better.
Because it won't last for much longer. When all the attention is...
I'm the only one who's gonna get what he wants tonight.
I'm sure Sam's enjoying this. Enjoying all the attention he's getting. Bro, enjoy it while it lasts. Because it won't last for much longer.
So this is him depicting Brutus stabbing Caesar.
Yes, you destroyed Hamza, but you destroyed yourself also. Because other big names in the industry now see you as a rat. Don't want to work with you. They will think, if I ever do something that pisses this guy off, he will do the same to me. He will air my dirty laundry also. You didn't think this through, bro. You are trading short-term attention for long-term consequences.
Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't work with this guy.
But hey, thanks. Thanks for providing us all the material on Hamza. And guys, this is Hamza's best friend of 5 years, by the way. This is Hamza's brotherhood.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, it's just mutually assured destruction.
Exposed and betrayed by his best friend. Don't be a free agent in life.
Yeah. Okay. To kind of round that out a little bit better, maybe. Let me put it like this, okay? The first thing that I noticed when I started paying attention to Hamza was how quickly he moved. And what do I mean by moved? I mean how quickly he adapted what he was saying, what he was doing, and what he was fucking, encouraging to the market demands and to his personal desires, okay? It was fucking crazy. He started out by shitting on Andrew Tate. He made a big video shitting on Sneeko for being on Tate's wave. When Tate really blew up, Hamza, instantly on the Tate wave, farming the Tate wave, instantly adopting all the fucking rhetoric and talking points. It was crazy to me. When Tate went the, religious Islam route, which I believe he did so cynically, there's much evidence to back that up, but whatever. Hamza also took that route, but did it in a way that was just less authentic because he didn't incorporate the religiosity into his practice. He just talked a lot about, kind of almost religious concepts or like the idea of treating things with sanctity and sincerity. And the big one was the monogamy. Okay. He was big on enforcing or encouraging monogamy. Dude, to the point that he was saying some crazy shit, man. It was fucking bad. It was, if you want to see it, if you want to see what he said, you can go on my Patreon. It's available on my Patreon because I have 16-minute Hamza video that's edited on my Patreon. At some point, it'll be uploaded. It'll probably be like a 30-minute video that I upload at some point. But the point that I'm getting at, though, is that he was encouraging basically that, and he framed it in such a, you know what, bro, I'm just going to fucking show you. Because it was such a fucking, just like the way he framed it was like, dude, what the fuck are you saying? One sec. Whatever, this is the fucking Hamza sneak peek. I don't know how much is available here. But the biggest thing to know about older brother YouTube is that these are people who often just learned what they're reiterating to you as advice. They're constantly changing, adapting, as are you as a viewer, right? A lot of these guys give off an aura of like hyper relatability, as if they understand your problems better than anybody else. And they often do because they're currently dealing with it or they have just dealt with it. But because of that, they're often quick to, give you some half-baked advice or regurgitate some poorly thought through. I looked a little inflated in that fucking video. Yeah, well, whatever. This is the Gokanaru Patreon if you want to watch it. But the point that I put in this video, there was advice that Hamza gave that was just like almost predatory in the way that he viewed women. It was just insane. And he just clearly was trying to impress other men. Yeah, it was insane, bro. It was like, okay, he basically went on the monogamy route because it was popular in the red pill fucking circles. He was trying to keep up. And it was to the point where he got so in his own head about all this that the same woman who he had just made videos basically saying she is going to be his wife, that same woman who he was saying would be his wife, he ended the relationship, instantly made a video talking about why, and basically said it's because she didn't adhere to a list that he created, which basically is a list that is a total fucking fantasy. And yeah, man, it was just dark. But then he gets back with the girl. And then he gets back with the girl because, of course, he actually wants to be with her. He just basically broke up with her to, please these other fucking dudes, more or less, to impress people or whatever. And then, randomly, he's like, I'm going to become an MMA fighter because it became cool. It became in the fucking ethos to be like a capable physical warrior fighter, caveman, okay? And so he's like, he planned to go on a boot camp to do fucking like Muay Thai for like 2 months. Guess what happens? Oh yeah, and guess what he does? He fires all of his fucking editors, which is what Sam was referencing, which I called out as basically being like, dude, what the fuck? Crazy. Guess what happens after that? He quits the Muay Thai thing after 2 days. Because he just didn't like the vibe. Probably because he wasn't in control. Probably because it was a very, like, he had doubts as to whether he actually wanted to be good at Muay Thai or whether this was more of like a status signifier thing that he was trying to, seem tough. Definitely part of it was that. Okay, a lot of ego playing into all this shit. And he jumps super hard on the farm money wave. I'm the business financial advisor guy. He jumps on Alex Hormozy's wave, which is the guy who I could criticize all fucking day long, probably. But the point is, okay, and let's be clear, like, Alex Hormozy is a very, very different beast than a Tate, than a fucking any of these guys. A very different beast, okay? I understand the coherence of the frames. There are very legitimate critiques that I could levy at these people. But the point is that Hamza was always trying very, very desperately to adapt. And he would do these hard U-turns, basically in reaction to the market demands, right? The other, like, who was popping off at that moment in, like, men's self-help. And then he would like revert back, basically, because he just realized he's not that fucking guy. You know what I mean? So the point that I'm trying to express is that he didn't have a coherent ideology. He did not have coherent principles that he actually possessed. He might have had some standards. He might have had some rules for himself that he tried to impose and whatever. There are ways that he was definitely a positive influence. But at the end of the day, as a leader, can you really trust and believe in someone that they will, deliver you long-term success and happiness and fulfillment? Can you trust that they will do that if they're always constantly willing to change their strategy, change their ideology, to adapt, and change who he's working with in order to, basically in order to please his desires, which in the case of Hamza, he just fired all of his staff after they did a shitload of work. Like, literally, it was fucked up, man. It was fucked up because his channel blew up. Literally, his channel blew up thanks to his editors. That's just a fact. His channel blew up thanks to his editors. They were cranking out like fucking multiple videos a day for literally a year. And then he gets massively popular. Suddenly, fires all of them. Starts a course. Farms the audience. Hires his fucking family. Yeah, I understand why guys like Sam would be pissed at him, okay? But at the end of the day, I do think it is a sign of I don't think it's a good thing to betray someone's trust that they placed in you, even if it was in the past, for gain, okay? For gain. Again, it's one thing if you genuinely believe, you just are reporting something that they did that is wrong, right? I understand that. But when you're in a position where you can betray somebody's trust at gain to yourself, that, my friend, is when you are being tested, okay? That's the big test. Like I told you, developing trust with somebody is basically like a series of tests, okay? Now, most people don't actually think about it like tests, which makes sense, right? You don't need to think about it like a test, but that is what's happening, okay? If, for example, we can take the example, if somebody leaves you with their kid and something goes horrendously wrong, like just you fucked up super bad, yeah, that's a pretty big test you failed, you know what I mean? In this case, in a lot of senses, you cannot be trusted if you have not been tested. What does that mean? It means that if you have never been put in a position where you could fuck over your friend at gain to yourself, you don't actually know if you're trustworthy. So that's why I emphasize power a lot of the times when I'm talking about love and trust and all of these things. It's because it's easy for somebody to believe that they would not act maliciously or that they wouldn't, try and exploit somebody that they love or whatever. But it's really the question of your character is really answered when you actually have the option, when you can transgress in that way. That is when you're truly tested. The quality of your character is truly tested. Okay? Because words are words. You can say whatever you'd like. Behavior speaks differently. You know what I mean? And yeah, if there's one thing that's self-improvement, which I have done self-improvement arcs, okay? My life has still got problems, but I've tried, okay? I've definitely succeeded at improving in multiple aspects of it. If there's one thing that self-improvement that I've consistently had to understand with self-improvement, it's that it is not something that ends, okay? Unfortunately. I know this sounds obvious. It's not something that ends. So a lot of my self-improvement, it felt like I was striving to grab at something, right? There is no end. There is no end to the reaching out and grabbing. The real way to know that you are succeeding at self-improvement is when you are taking pleasure in the process. Okay, when you are taking pleasure in the process, you are taking pleasure in the journey that leads to the destination. And I'm not there yet, personally. I have a hard time taking pleasure in some of the journeys I set myself on. But that's a lot of people, right? That's a lot of people. So, it's good though. It's good. To strive toward anything in this life, I believe, is worthwhile. And not to blackpill you, the destination can totally be fucking sweet and nice, right? Like, I'll give you an example. The Sneeko video that I made took a lot out of me. Very difficult project, whatever. When I finished that video, released it and everything, that felt awesome. That felt fucking amazing. Worth it. Everything, whatever. But that fades. That fades, okay? So what I more so mean is that striving, when you reach and you grab and you gain that power or whatever, you can't just hold on to that forever. You have to, continue. There has to be a next project. And that's why, as an end in itself, the destination does not actually serve you that well long term. You know what I mean? So, yeah. That's why, when somebody like Hamza when he signs up to do like Muay Thai in a boot camp where he doesn't know anybody and he's not even that inspired to be like an MMA fighter. He probably, he's like a pretty self-interested, rational guy. He's probably like, dude, what the fuck am I doing MMA for? I'm going to just get brain damage for no good reason? Yeah. He clearly was not enjoying the process of getting to, like, becoming good at MMA. He clearly didn't actually believe in the destination of it. He just wanted to be good at MMA as a status signifier. Not because he really loved MMA or whatever. He wanted it as an end, as basically to pursue other ends, right? Not as an end in itself. Anyway, I think you kind of get what I'm saying. Like, he viewed it more so as a he viewed it more so as a step towards success rather than a journey to actually understand the sport and to, be properly invested in the sport or whatever you would say. But yeah, I don't know how I'm still number one, even though I was gone for like 2 hours. Well, what can I say, bro? Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for chilling with me. Hamza's inauthentic as fuck. If he made videos that are authentic, he would be cooking. It's easy to break trust, hard to get it back, but these people don't care about getting it back. A true self-improvement enjoyer builds a house to knock it down and rebuild it to prove it wasn't a fluke. Yeah, I mean, that's just kind of the fact of the like. At the end of the day, man, you can endure the trial, okay? You can endure the trial. You can do something that you hate and acquire an end that you want, right? But ideally, we don't live in a world of ideals, but we should strive to. Ideally, you would find something that is difficult. Ideally, something centered around becoming more skillful, all right? You should find a skill that you want to acquire and enjoy the process of getting better. Enjoy the process of failure that leads to success or succeeding in it. And then understand that when you achieve that certain level that you wanted, that's not the end. You stay, you continue, you're consistent, and you do it. You continue that thing because you believe, you enjoy it, and you think that it makes you a more full person or more, it adds to your life. It's not just an accessory.